There you go.
Looks like it's going to let me do it. I wasn't sure. I thought it might require you to approve it.
No, not after I give you co-host abilities.
Okay. Okay, because I'm a co-host. Got it.
Yep.
So if I'm a participant, so one of the people from the township who logs onto the meeting or something, if they tried to do that, it would come back to you and say, is it okay?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't think they could start it.
I don't think.
But I'm not sure.
Okay. By the way, Robin, the reason for that is just that I observed in looking over Janet's minutes that we always have this stuff in the minutes about recording the meeting for purpose of preparing the minutes, but we never have them. We never do that.
Oh,
so,
we weren't recording them? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Mark always records it.
Oh, okay.
I always have it.
Yeah.
I can share it, but if you want to take one for yourself, that's fine.
It's easier. Mark and I went back and forth. He could send me a copy or something. It's easier for me to just make it, and then he doesn't have to bother with anything. And so I can use it when we review it. I can shoot a copy over to Janet if she wants it when she writes them up. But we're out of his hair after the meeting.
Yeah, that would probably be a big help to Janet.
Yeah, it seems like it. And Noah's here. Hello, Noah.
Noah, how are you? You're muted. I'm the Zoom mute police.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Good evening.
Hi.
Good.
Hi.
Hey, you. Nice to see you tonight. There's Janet. Papa Janet's head.
There's an elk behind Janet.
Yeah.
Oh, a nice big elk.
There. I thought Janet was using the elk filter of Zoom there for a minute.
Was I muted? Am I muted?
No, you're.
I hear you.
That's the only place it fits in my house, is in the living room.
He's impressive.
Yeah.
My wife told me no antlers in the house.
Oh, I've got a lot.
So they're all in the workshop.
If you want them for the meeting, I think there's an antler filter for Zoom also.
Right back.
By the way, Mark,
Yes.
on Thursday, it was really cold and windy and kind of miserable, but we took a walk up on the trail, and I just wanted to thank you for helping us get the playground back in shape again. There was actually a family there in that cold wind, parents and couple children playing on the playground.
At Foy?
At Foy, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a determined bunch.
I know, that's what I said. I barely made the walk.
It's
Yeah,
cool.
we went out Saturday before the weather. The kids were by the playground, another one, but yeah, we were out Saturday for a little while. We went for a walk.
It's just good to get out.
Oh yeah, anytime you can.
For some of us, it's a long, long memory, but I seem to recall when I was 10 years old, I could take a lot of that. And you'd go out and play and come back in and have snow in your shoes and your feet would be turning blue. And your mother was all concerned, but you weren't.
True.
For some, when you're little, you can take a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're still like that.
Yeah.
Okay, at my age, it's like, Pam, it's freezing in here. It's only 74 degrees.
Yeah. Waiting for 3 members here.
And usually Noelle, but that's only if she's in the mood.
Everybody's probably out shoveling.
Yeah.
That's really not much of an, well, it might be an excuse for Josh. I don't know. Yeah, it probably is. I was thinking he's in a townhouse. He shouldn't have to shovel, but they don't have a homeowners association. He probably does.
Right, yeah, he probably does.
That was when we lived in a townhouse. That was one of the things I liked. Just sit inside and it gets cleared. If you're at work when it snows, you come home and it's all cleared off and the parking spaces are cleared. It just makes you feel wealthy, you know? And there's Warren. Hello, Warren.
Hello.
Waiting for Donna Lynn and Josh yet.
Josh, I don't think he's gonna make it.
You don't think so?
No.
He sent you something?
I think he declined the invitation.
Okay. And I know Donna Lynn was trying to get on.
Well, with 5, you have quorum, so you could start.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start because I know Donna Lynn was in. So I'm going to call the meeting to order for our February 1st meeting. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming. Roll call. We're missing Donna Lynn and Josh right now. Hopefully Donna Lynn will join us. We also have another guest tonight. Noah Phillips is with us. Noah has submitted his application, would like to join us, and I invited him on tonight so he can kind of hear what a meeting is about and decide if he wants to join our bunch here, see what we're doing.
Good. Welcome.
So welcome, Noah. And we also have Marla online. Evening, Marla. I'll make the announcement.
Hi, sorry, I'm on mute.
Okay. Yeah, park board minutes are recorded for the purpose of preparing the minutes. The recordings are destroyed 6 months after the minutes are approved, and we're recording on Zoom, which is our carrier tonight. Some procedural housekeeping. The members of the board can just unmute themselves to speak. All others can speak, and we'll try to notice and get you in. Our first point of operation tonight is approval of the January 4th minutes. Did everyone have received the minutes? And has everyone had a chance to review them? Have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes.
A second.
Thank you. All approved? Minutes are approved.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, minutes are approved. One note again on our meeting, we have advertised the meeting schedule that we decided upon last month. That was been published out from the January minutes. So that's our proposed meetings with the meetings in the park, with the option to revert to Zoom due to weather or COVID concerns. So that's been published out, so we're good there. The first item, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, you're good. And if we have to, we put it in there, a caveat that we can, put them back on Zoom or go into the meeting room if we're at that point.
I think that's good. Does that also cover us for COVID, Mark?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
To go on to Zoom, so.
I'm a little concerned things aren't going quite as well with the rollout of the vaccine. I don't know what kind of participation we're going to get. We're live in a park. I guess we can try it maybe. And may not get too many people showing up for that.
Yep. All right, I'm going to drop off.
Outdoor meetings, it shouldn't matter too much, right?
No, outdoor it shouldn't. I mean, You can be outside with a mask on.
You can be outside distance with a mask on. We can be good. It's just that maybe people won't, be as likely to show up. We'll find out.
Yep.
But we're published and we're good to go. So
Correct.
we're good on that
All right.
point. So
I'm going to drop off. If you need me, give me a call.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay. Have a
Yes.
good night.
Mark.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Our first item of business tonight is following up on the tree donation program, kind of pushing to get that up and running. Let me see here. Okay, no, that's the wrong one. Never mind. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's get this right here. Okay, can everybody see that?
Nope.
Nope. Shoot. Okay.
We saw it for a second.
No, that we saw a diagram.
Sharing failed to start into use. Okay, never mind. My problem is my slides disappeared out of. Where is now? Now we have it. Okay, do we have that now?
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
Excellent, thank you. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. We had our working group, Warren, Robin, and myself. Donna Lynn had an emergency work requirement. We met at Village Center Park on January 15th to talk about the planting plan approach and to start getting some details worked out. I think it was a good meeting. We had good participation from everyone. The block on the right there is kind of what came out of that meeting. For everyone who wasn't there, I did put out an email, but this is a summary. We're looking at, our options, given we've got a clean palette with the trees out, that we can plant a kind of a natural looking space with native trees and understory. We can put in some nice native shrubs and perennial flowers. We make a nice planting space there. We talked about for the planting plan, how to approach it best. And among the three of us, we kind of decided we would start by planting the back corner there. Looking at this map, where you're looking up is CVS, and this is the back left-hand corner of the park. It's also the wet area. So in light of that, we talked about types of trees. It was good participation by the group. Everyone had ideas on the types of trees we wanted to use. Our suggested trees that we're looking at is using black gum, American sycamore, sugar maple, white oak. Robin thought American holly, and I love that idea. And I like Canadian hemlock, and Warren tells us we can treat that now so we can keep it healthy. We agree, as we've talked about in prior meetings, that the specimen selection and planting will be compliant with the saldo, as far as how trees will be properly planted and the selection of a good stock. We talked about the size of trees that we would want to plant, and the 2 and 2.5 caliber or inch diameter trees. For those who aren't familiar with the lingo, Josh is here. It's a reasonably substantial tree as a donation, and we really don't want to go too much smaller than that. And the planting location and the tree types are at the discretion of the park board, and also going to be based on the availability at the time of planting. Some trees are not going to be readily available, especially now we're on the inside of the area for lanternfly, but materials aren't moving around between nurseries right now. And we'll look at what we can find. We're planning on, if we have people who have donated, to do both the spring and fall plantings, and part of that is determined by the trees. Some trees prefer spring, some trees prefer fall. We again looked at pricing, current pricing at nurseries, and also information that Warren provided on wholesale pricing. We're looking at, depending on the tree, between $185 to $275 per tree. And then planting is at least 2/3, and usually, again, the tree cost to have a professional plant the tree.
All right, here's where I have to interject.
Yes. Go
Okay,
ahead.
your $185 to $275 is realistic for the wholesale price of trees if we pick them up at a wholesale nursery and get the wholesale price.
Okay.
The planting at 2/3 to 100% of tree cost is accurate, but not if you are going to get things planted to the specifications that we want.
Okay.
That is what it costs to get the average landscaper to stick a tree in a hole in the ground. And if that's what we're going to accept, that's, I guess I can't be involved. If we're going to go with 100% of tree cost, that would reflect the way really good people plant trees, and that covers the cost if you lose a tree. That covers your guarantee.
Right.
That's insurance.
Right. Exactly.
If you want to actually price these things out at that price, that would be accurate if we're subsidizing the cost by doing the planting ourselves. If you really want the cost of having a professional do it properly, you're not going to get it done at 100% of the tree cost.
Okay.
Or you're going to get somebody to quote you at doing it that, but you're not going to be satisfied with the results.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, that's what we want.
And that's up to you. I'm not going to argue about it. If you want to cut the cost like that, that's fine.
It's not an argument. We want to have that discussion. I put this together as a speak, to have a discussion and proposal out there. It's what we talked about. I put together a proposal of a draft approach to it, and that's the whole idea, is to discuss this and decide where we really have to see what's realistic for us. Because we're also going to pick up, the park board and the township municipal team is going to pick up, incur the maintenance, the cost, the watering, and the tree care the first couple of years to make sure these trees survive and flourish. And we're not looking to make a profit here, but we should get a little something with that.
I care about that. I care about having them survive and flourish, not just until they become established, but for the long term.
Sure.
Which is why I want to see that they meet our specifications.
And that is exactly why we want to have good stock that's selected, and we don't want a root bound thing, and all this stuff. So that's exactly what I have. So
yeah, I think that's the way we want to drive it, is that we want quality stock, and we want it done in the best possible way. And what is the cost to do that? Not here's a number, what can you do for that number? Particularly given our position as, we're trying to take a role that's, if only incidentally, educational. So we don't want to be the park board and be doing a schlocky job of putting in junk trees that we picked up, for a bargain price at the Target.
Exactly, and we can't do that because this is a donation. These are memorial trees that people are putting in. They want to be able to visit them back. They want to see them survive, and that's part of how this has to be constructed. What has to be kept in mind.
So I guess the question is, what are the numbers to do it right?
Well,
we went over that. Probably like about $700 to $800, and I've gotten resistance from members of our board about that. And how I feel about that is if you want to make it be $500 instead of $800, that's fine. If you think we need to do that because we need to keep the cost down to, attract people to do it or whatever. But if we do that, we're going to be subsidizing it. The township's going to be paying a part of the cost, or we're going to be subsidizing it by doing it on our, with our volunteer help and, or with the help of the township crew. If you guys want to do that, I'm okay with that.
Warren,
All I care about is that we get it done correctly, that's all.
Agreed.
How do you come up with the $700 to $800, Warren? Just curious.
Okay, maybe you weren't there for that meeting.
It might have been, that's when I might have had to log off 1 second. Remember, I missed some things.
Yeah.
But if
It's
the
very
cost of the
typical to have a tree planting job priced the way Pam described it here.
Right.
A lot of landscapers will pick up the tree at the wholesale cost, double the price, that's the cost. They're pricing it that way because they need to be competitive. And that's why so many of our landscapes fail. That's the reason why we're ripping out all that nursery stock in
Village Center.
Circle and around the fountain right now. You know, it's done the typical way, which is shoddy. If you want somebody that does a quality job and meets those specifications, the way I do it, I charge about, like I said, $700 to $800 to plant a tree that size. If it's one tree, if it's more, it's less. You know, you have the economy of scale, but you have the cost of the tree, which would be $250 to $300. You double that, that's $500. When I double that, that covers, the way I price my jobs, that covers my cost of sourcing the nursery stock and getting it there. And it covers the cost if I have to replace something because the customer doesn't water it or something like that, and I lose it and I have to replace it. On top of that, I put my labor costs to install the tree, and that's where it bumps it up to the $700 to $800 range.
Right. And those were the numbers I had kind of talked about when I looked at what other programs in the Pennsylvania, Eastern Pennsylvania area and other areas of the country, in fact, the Penn State program and some others. That's the kind of numbers where they're at and the kind of number I got to, but we had some pushback and concerns about the pricing. So what I drafted up here for our quick review, and all of you got a copy of this and you've all commented back, thank you. And this was just a draft to try to, throw down what we want to be saying in a simplistic approach as possible. I deliberately chose the 500 as a lower number, kind of in the middle. I don't think it's the final number. My concern is we could have trees at various levels. Some programs do that. It makes it more complicated. And I think it also puts the donor possibly in the position of deciding, well, if we want to go cheap for grandma or we're going to go high. I don't like putting people in that position. So I thought the best approach was to come to a, one price. To do that, it kind of covers everything. And if we get trees at both levels, it kind of comes out in the wash, and that's what happens. But just to go down through quickly, this is just quick, easy, sales point. You've all seen this. Anyone on the call that hasn't seen it, I'm happy to get your feedback as to whether you'd buy a tree from these people. But this just describes what you get kind of for your money, and this is for Village Center Park. We're not doing money right now. And the price, you get the QR code with I made up a same kind of tag we're using for plants, except it would have a memorial statement on it. And then the second page is the sign up sheet, tells you what you get for your $500. You get the tree.
Hey, Pam, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes.
Where's your microphone? I'm really, it's painful for me to listen to you on here right now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it's just really, really bad sound.
Wow. Okay, well, I've upped my mic here a little bit.
That sounds better.
Okay. Hopefully it stays with us.
Oh, that sounds way better.
Okay, good. So with the donation, you get the purchase of the tree, the planting of the tree, the engraved aluminum memorial sign and post with your message, and then also tree maintenance and care by the township. And that's either by the township or by the township contractor. And then the obvious information there, the information you want on the thing. And then, just we're giving them a list of trees. if they want to have a tree preference, they can put that down there. We will try to give them their preference. If they have a particular tree, like a dogwood or something they would rather put in, they could suggest that. We get back to them on that about availability and things like that. So that's the general approach I was thinking of. That's consistent with other programs, as simple about as we can make it. And this could be posted up on the website, posted out on the internet. This can also be easily converted into like a brochure kind of thing to hand out, have in various places, and to be posted up. So the objective was to get the discussion, and we have a very good discussion going here. So I guess one of the things I want to try to lock down is, I know the 500 was bare minimum. It was lowballing it. Just trying to get to a low number that we might be able to hit, but that would require our subsidizing to a certain level. So I guess what I want to hear from the group is, I mean, we could break it down. There are some trees that are a little cheaper than others. We could maybe do some at 550 and some at 6, or go with the 6 to 8, 600 and 800, or just like pick like 650.
I'd rather not complicate it like that. In fact, I'd rather try to simplify as much of this as we can.
Yeah.
When Pam, I had a discussion with you, I'm not sure who else was in on it, about the choices of species.
Right.
Was that a group discussion, or was that just me and you?
I honestly
think I was there.
Yeah, I think that was while we were at Village Center Park.
It was.
Well, we had an email back and forth.
Okay.
Was anybody else on that? No?
The email.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, so Pam, you brought up this what you just now said about offering people a choice, and I expressed that it might be easier, simplify things by not suggesting to people that they should be making a choice, but rather allowing people to, if they specifically have something that they would like to choose, let us know what it is and we'll see if we can accommodate. But it's my experience that most people, when it's time to plant a tree, even in their own landscape, the average person doesn't have an opinion. They want your opinion. They want my opinion. And when it's for somebody's landscape, I encourage people to do their homework, research the trees because it's going to be in their place. But people beg me to tell me what tree that they should plant.
Well,
that is the most common scenario. I think it would greatly simplify things if we simply said that they're going to get a shade tree planted and mention that if they have a specific tree that they really love, tell us what it is and we'll see if we can accommodate that. But other than that, the choice should be up to us, because our goal here is not just to have a memorial park, but to landscape that grove again, to reforest the grove.
Hey, Warren, I think there's another reason to do that and keep it simple, and that is, think about our customer here. Think about who is coming to us and wanting this. If you've just lost your mother, your father, a spouse, whatever, you really don't want to. You're not in a mood to take a whole lot of time studying up on what's the best species. You really do need someone to help you and make it simple for people, because it's just that kind of a time in your life when you need it to be simple. So
hey, when people lose a tree in their landscape, they have a hard time trying to come up with a decision of what to replace it with.
Did you just compare losing my mother to losing a tree?
Some people are emotionally attached to their tree.
Right. Well, I mean, I hear you, and I agree, and I certainly want to keep it simple. Actually, because of our discussion was why I included our list we came up with partially because we want to make sure we maintain control, because we talked about a couple of these varieties that do well in the wet area. And to give people an idea of what might be planted so that they don't have to think about it, and they're not likely to do their homework, and they can kind of see what kind of stuff that, oh, those are nice, I like sugar maple, oh, white oak's beautiful, and holly, oh, and kind of give them an idea. But if you want those pulled out of there, we can just say shade trees. Personally, I want to have an idea of what it is, and every tree program I've looked at has either given a list or even pictures and descriptions of the trees.
Well, maybe we could publish a list and say that it would probably be something on this list.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying right here. We talked about what we'd want to put in that area in the back there to start. And then if they have a preference for a different kind of tree, they can tell us what that is, and we'll try to accommodate them. I thought that was probably the easiest approach to go, but whatever you guys want. That's, I mean, this isn't
Pam,
all, yes.
Pam, couldn't we say something like planting shade trees such as, and then list those, but we wouldn't necessarily then limit ourselves to those, but we could just include those as possible suggestions?
That sounds perfect to me.
That's good.
Well, what about
Then that gives us
saying that the trees that we want to plant in this park will be something that's from the recommended township list, and tell them that if you're interested in seeing the list, give them the link to the list in our saldo, and ask if, and just say if you have a personal opinion of something that you would rather have or rather not have, let us know.
What concerns me about that is we're going to get a whole mismatch of people wanting all kinds of different types of trees. I'm concerned about maintaining some level of control of what we're putting in there.
I like Robin's idea. I like the, that's still, what do you have on that list, about 6 different kinds of trees?
Yeah, and it suggests, I mean, it's the ones we talked about that will do well in that area. It suggests there will be something like this, and they have the option of giving us another tree if they want. So we're not tied into this list specifically, and they have the option of suggesting something else if they want it. So
can you change the first word to be suggested plantings instead of?
I think how about, planned planting or plantings will include shade trees such as.
Right.
Well, definitely give us an out like that, because we want diversity. And once again, I think in reality, what you're going to find out is that the majority of people aren't going to want to make the decision.
Well, we're going to find out. Okay, so I can change that wording, and then it's a matter of, what do we feel is the fair and equitable price? It sounds like we're at $650, $700 at least.
Can I ask another question of Warren? I know you've mentioned a lot of people aren't going to plant it the right way. Locally, are there nurseries that you trust that you would suggest we use?
The only reason that I plant trees for customers is because there's nobody that I would trust besides myself. I can't, because I know people that know how to do things right. It's just that in reality, it doesn't happen. The way that most landscape businesses work, at least since the 1980s, when that profession became the way to run a business that uses the least skilled possible labor, it doesn't work out. It's a real problem. It's right. The whole reason why I insisted that we rewrite our saldo.
So it sounds like the only acceptable person to do it is you.
Well, the only acceptable person to do it is anybody, as long as there's somebody to inspect and see that things are done to the specifications that we give, which those specifications are outlined in our new saldo.
Yeah. Warren, is there a nurseryman in the vicinity that you would trust to plant?
Once again, same thing. You would have to make sure that whoever does it understands that we're going to hold them to the specifications, and then we'll have to hold them to the specifications.
I'm hearing echoes of Ronald Reagan. He keeps saying trust but verify.
Well, when I said the mid 80s, Ronald Reagan said that we're moving to a, what did he call it? A service economy. So all the people that used to go to school to be in a profession like horticulture, they didn't do that anymore. They went to school to be MBA and learn how to manage a business and how to manage it efficiently. And he was right. That's what happened. That's where we are now. That's why our landscapes are so temporary in so many places. And I know that's political, but it's where we are.
Yeah, I didn't mean the quote to be political. I'm just saying what I'm hearing from you is trust but verify. Pick one that you think is pretty good, but always be there to verify it.
Yeah, and you know, when I'm talking about the price, that's what it costs to get a contractor to do it. I don't have any problem with us subsidizing the thing by putting our own, like getting our own hands dirty, or you know, making some of our planting jobs into educational events, an Arbor Day program where we get together and you know, give a proper tree planting demonstration, give a proper tree planting demonstration to the township crew so that they're capable of doing it.
Well, you're certainly qualified. I'm a tree tender and soon to be a master gardener. You know,
You know what I'm talking about then.
We've got a couple people who have training and proper doing this and been tested on it. And, you know, but I think we have to we have to approach this as having it professionally installed. You know, again, on the price, Warren, are you able to buy from Walters?
Sure, anybody can.
Well, they're wholesale. They wouldn't sell to me.
No, they'd probably sell it to you at the retail price.
Yeah, but I mean, their pricing, you know, we're looking at their pricing for these trees. They come, I've talked to a couple people, they come well recommended, and if you use them.
Well, once again, I'll introduce you to Chris Yulin, and he loves to get involved in local community-based projects like this.
I mean, I know we could get Bemerwold involved in, like, when we get the shrubbery and some of the, you know, smaller stuff. They just don't have the larger trees.
I'll introduce you to Chris.
Walters, for anyone who doesn't know, is in Point Pleasant, Pennsylvania. They have a very good catalog of a lot of the trees we're looking for, and usually broad. And from what I'm hearing, they have good stock, and they have, you know, stock available most of the time. So a lot of the local guys I've talked to, like around Collegeville and this area, they have some of the plant trees we'd be looking for, but their stock is spotty. They'd have to dig it for us ahead of time and root cut it and prep it, and it's pretty involved, and you know, just not sure. And they don't really have a good stock of, just taking this list we generated, nobody had a good stock of those types of trees. So if we could establish where the stock came from would be helpful. But it sounds to me like we need to be around, what do you think, Warren?
That's one of the things that comes into play for when somebody prices out a job like this. Sourcing is not simple.
No, I know.
It's actually work. It's something that you need to be paid for.
Yep.
I often get myself into trouble like that. I
Well, I don't
tell
want to,
somebody I'm going to plant a certain species of tree, and then I have to find it, and I have to find it in a quality that I find acceptable. I
well,
spend more
that's,
time running around trying to get the tree than I
yeah,
do.
well, that's one of the things that, keeping it open for us as far as what we plant allows us to go looking for what is good stock at the time we're looking, and, what do they have that looks good, and taking those.
And that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
And I do that with clients. A lot of people give me the option. I
This
look
is
for
one-
what I can find the best quality stock of.
Yeah, this is going to be a mixed hardwood area, and, planted in, kind of like a natural forest kind of thing. So we have a lot of leeway there. But it sounds to me like we should be, we're not happy with the 500. 500 requires subsidy. If we went to like 650, that's a lot less subsidy.
Well, once again, it's a matter of you guys where you want to put the price point. You have to realize that the whole thing's a subsidy, considering that we're committing the township to eternal care. What's that worth?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my feeling is I'm willing to help subsidize any way we need to keep the price down a little bit. I'm willing to help plant if someone wants to be there and show me the proper way. And I'm even willing to help subsidize from our budget if we have to, because I look at it this way. If we can charge $500 or $600 toward a tree, that's $500 or $600 we don't have now. So it's a win any way around.
I agree. And, we have parks. Once you decide you're going to have parks and they're going to have trees, you're going to have a maintenance cost. So that's, we've already committed to that. If we don't want that, I don't know, I guess we should just like cut down all the trees and have grass, or put down stone or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a valid point. And at this point, I want to turn things around as how we plant and maintain the trees in our parks. That's an issue. That's we have trees that were low budget, planted in Cuddy Park, and we're losing them, and it was just a waste of money to plant them for whatever it cost, even if it was next to nothing.
I think you've carried that opinion here. What I'm hearing from this group is that we're all for that, and we're saying let's do what we got to do to get a good specimen and get it done the right way. And if we come up a little short and we spend $100 more than we have coming in, 150 or whatever it is, we take that out of the budget. We're still way ahead of if we had to go out and buy the trees.
That's what I think.
Yeah. And we have to be setting a good example. We want to educate the public. We want to have a training component, an educational component to the things we do. Part of that has to be that when we do things like this, we do it the right way. So let's commit to doing it the right way with good stock, and take our best shot, put a stake in the ground at what a number is. And good heavens, if we come up, if we're off by $100 or $200 or something, we can handle it. We can change the price. If we change our mind later, we're not committing in perpetuity here. We can change the price, but let's just pick a reasonable number and get started.
What do we feel is a good number that people in this township are likely going to want to pay?
That's an interesting question. How do you determine that?
I've paid up to $800 per tree. I mean, it depends on what you want, a really good specimen and well planted, and it's going to survive.
Marla wants to talk.
Yes.
She does? Oh, she does.
I figured out how to raise my hand. I was just going to suggest that psychologically 750 sounds like maybe that might 750 or 795 maybe would be your high point, because I think once you get over 800 it just feels like a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I wanted to say. I don't have any magical answer.
No, there isn't a magical answer. Just trying to get someplace where we don't get, we're not underwater on this.
The reference that
I spent a
made
bunch of years
before-
working in marketing. Trust me, there's no magical answer.
The reference that I made before when we were discussing this is Montgomery County has memorial park benches.
Yes.
They cost $950.
Yeah, the benches are crazy. They're $800.
And people buy them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Janet's point was, it's a lot of money for somebody. And my answer to that is, yeah, it probably is. But in a lot of cases, you might have a bunch of people chipping in for memorial
Yeah,
things.
you might have families paying in, families donating. It sounds like we should be around 700, 750.
And I'm just making points back and forth here,
No, that's the whole idea, and I appreciate everyone. I mean, I put this thing out, and we started getting a conversation going on emails, and that's great. That's exactly what we need to do, and feel this thing out. And we don't want to have a miss when we go out that we just, frustrate everyone, and everyone says, "Oh well, forget it. That's ridiculous." But I did feel like the 500 was bare minimum and wasn't going to cover everything. So it sounds like we should at least be maybe 700. We have money in the budget. We have donations from our businesses. We have a little bit of extra money that we have to cover shortfall if we need it. A couple hundred here, a couple hundred there. And I'm with Robin. I would be happy to subsidize the program to support it if we can come to a number that we feel that the people in the township are likely to donate at.
Yeah, you have to remember we're asking the township to subsidize it. So, I mean, we're going to have to run this by the supervisors.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm saying we have donations that we've gotten from our businesses and things that, we're sitting on.
Well, I say we go in at 750.
How's everybody else feel on that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
You want a motion and a motion and a second or something? What do you want to do, Pamela?
Let's vote on that.
I move we go in at 750. Robin, you second?
I do.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, I'll rewrite it for 750. The other issue I wanted to address on that is we did also talk about trying to get trees at Cuddy. The problem with Cuddy is we don't have water, so maintaining them is a little more difficult, but we could do the same kind of thing for Cuddy Dog Park. We don't need as many trees there, but we could have a request form if you want to do Cuddy Dog Park, same kind of format as this last page that we're looking at, and just do one of those for Cuddy if people think, but we have to decide how we're going to take care of these trees. They have to be watered, and it's a little harder there. Do we want to do that now or table that for the time being? Get started with this one first, or what does everyone want to do?
Get started with this one first.
I agree.
Everyone good with that?
Yeah, see how it goes. See
Okay.
how many requests we get.
Okay, I will redo this at 750. I'll reword it, be more general, put it back out to everybody. I guess the other thing then is we have to work toward looking at, how we want to get. I can talk to Mark. I mean, I'm comfortable. I would like to do the tree planting demonstration. And I think it could be very useful as an education thing to get people out there to help us and to instruct them in how to do it. I'd love to do container trees, bulb trees, and bare root trees, but we'll take what the best form that we get. But use it as an educational thing. But let's do it right. And people who donate can be there if they want. So okay, we'll rewrite that. We won't beat this one to death, but I'll talk to Mark about if he's cool with us doing the planting. we'd still have to kind of offer the guarantee that anything goes wrong, we will place it at our cost, but I think we can be good at that. There's no magic to doing planting trees. You just have to know what you're doing and doing it right. So it's not a mystical thing. Okay, very good. Thank you. I appreciate everyone's input on that. Let me stop sharing here. Now I'm off the meeting. Stop share. There we go.
Hey, there we go.
Hey, boy, I was almost going there. Almost left you. Okay, appreciate everyone's input on that. Next topic. We haven't had Donna Lynn join us, have we?
No.
Oh, too bad. So we were going to have just a quick review on events. And I guess, Robin, have you had any breakthroughs on looking for the concerts or anything like that?
Yes, and actually I did have a question on that too.
Sure.
Yes, we were in contact with a band called the Large Flowerheads. I don't know if anyone's familiar with them. They do 60s and early 70s. We've seen them a couple of times. They put on a really nice show, some audience participation. They really get people involved. So I think they would be fun. And they are available for our date and our rain date. They would be $1,500. And my question was, I wonder if we should reach out to Upper Salford and see if they would be willing for us to use their park again, because parking is such an issue at Coble Park. And I'm worried if we have rain for a couple days beforehand, we can't park in the field, and it's just become a big problem. So I just wondered how everybody felt about that. I mean, it would be nice if we could use our own park, but our facility just nearly isn't as big.
Well, I'm thinking about too, we'll be in August, and
Right.
Looking at the way the COVID vaccine is winding out, I mean, we've signed up for the old fart 65, over 65, and they're telling us, you're going to get your email any day now, and then, you get your first, and then you wait a month, and then it's, 3 weeks after that, and then we're not sure.
Val Arkush, Dr. Arkush says at this rate, it'll be a year till she's through Group 1A.
Yeah. I mean, it's really, we're not getting the vaccine supply in Montgomery County. So I think we have to look at, the spacing. We need to be distancing for that. That worked out very well last year. My only problem with using their park is they got credit for it, basically.
I know. That's a shame.
But, I mean,
but they seem very willing.
I think they're willing. We could ask them. I don't know. They don't have anything in their budget, but if they'd be willing to support us on that in any way, they might want to, whatever. But yeah, I think we have to be looking at using their facility. I don't think we can do anything like this at Coble.
No, I don't think so either.
This year is still going to be real weird for us.
Right.
Yes.
I agree.
But
so if everybody's okay with that, I'll reach out to them and just
you got to
make
talk
sure
to Alexis. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you send us something with? Does the group have a website or something that we could hear some of their stuff?
They do. I guess I've never been on their website, but I'm sure you could.
Could you send it out to us by email so that we can go to the website and listen?
Sure.
And Robin, I don't know if you saw it, but Mark sent out an email right before our meeting. He was approached by Tocani Creek Bluegrass Band.
I just saw that.
They're interested in performing in our concert series this summer. Apparently we have a series now. They're Montgomery County residents, have a great band with family appeal and tons of experience at private events and outdoor community presentations, and they'd like us to consider them as well. So
we could certainly listen to them too.
They've reached out to us. I like bluegrass. I don't know who else does, but we could do a double header.
I saw the email and I got on their website and I did listen to some of their songs and I really like them.
Oh, okay.
From what they posted, I clicked on Roseville Fair, which is one of my favorite Bill Staines songs from, the folk era, and they did a really nice job with it.
Okay.
Good.
And I'd actually like to shake it up and maybe, maybe do different things different years. We've had the pop, recycling bans the last few times.
So good.
I'm
Knows
looking,
the
I'm
music.
looking at this group and like pop and that kind of thing. And then I look in the top corner of my screen and I see Noah. And for Noah, those are the ancient history bands. Those are, it's like those bands are playing music that to him is like big band music is to me,
But it's very agreeable music.
This is Marla again.
Yes.
Have you thought of using the Spring Mount, the mountain as a venue, and also how about talking to Schwenksville?
The mountain has an issue. I know when we try to use it each year for the Fall Fest, they don't have electricity out there in the summer. They turn it off. So we'd have to bring it would probably be a little bit of a problem. Yeah.
Well, then what about Schwenksville instead of always going to Upper Salford?
Yeah. Now Schwenksville, I
They
don't
have
know.
good-
Do they
they have
have a
good
good
facilities.
parking situation?
Yeah,
Do they?
the parking by the trail.
Okay.
It's
I mean,
all
we
that
could.
parking. It's all that parking along Main Street into the left there, and then they have a pretty large park, and we could set up a stage at the end. They always do their like their Fall Fest there, a lot of events, and they'll have a band and everything, and they have a pavilion there that they can set up in.
Okay.
And that's
That's another option.
too. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you, Marla. But I think since these guys reached out to us, we should check them out and maybe
Sure.
decide. And then, if they look good to you and you get an idea of their pricing and stuff, then, we can decide what we want to do. But
Yeah, we should probably all listen.
yeah. So let's all look at it's Tokenie Creek, www.tokenycreek.org is their website. And I don't know.
Yeah, find out what they cost.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I'm going to bring this up again. Nobody wants to hear it, but I still think we should be using Cuddy Park.
Well, we have that on we listed in I was going to get to that, but if you look at our budget, remember we did our budget last year, I put out that sheet that we went over. That is not just a budget, but it's our kind of our list of things we want to do. And Cuddy Park concert event, possibly using Colonial Park for parking or something like that, was one of the things we had on our list to try to do this year. Now with COVID, that's still difficult, and we'd have to work out the parking and things. But
once again,
we have lots of parking.
I know there are naysayers, but I don't see an issue with parking on that upper field. I don't see a problem with driving around the path and parking off of the path at the top of the hill. It's well drained. I've driven there after horrible rains, and way less of a problem than where we used to park at
And what about using Colonial to park also and walk over?
Well, we could, but I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
The thing I don't like, Warren, about parking around the trail, if you will, around Cuddy. I'm not surprised that you can do that. It's very well drained. It stays hard, but we're trying to naturalize that area, and I have great respect for how much damage you can do driving our typical mix of internal combustion vehicles around. You might have somebody who's driving a 2-year-old car that doesn't drip anything, but there's going to be somebody else with a 20-year-old clunker that's parks and he's dripping oil, and I just don't like the idea of making those into roads, which I know that the staff, our township staff, can do it, but it doesn't bear the signs of damage that you get, and that's kind of my concern with doing it, is just it makes it into a road.
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue. It's been built as a road. It was built with a huge giant base, and you're talking about using it for one evening.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
I mean, And and as far as naturalizing it, that field, that's our turf area, and it's not even nice turf. It just it was never really even planted or tried to maintain as nice grass.
Okay.
It's just whatever would grow on the, the compacted clay of that.
What do you mean one evening? This is our entire concert series you're talking about. We have a band that wrote to us about our concert series. Apparently we have one now.
Maybe we'll have two someday. Maybe we'll have three. But,
we've always done one concert, and there's no rule that we have to do just one concert. And depending on, we have a little bit of a budget. We've got a budget for events. We're not going to be able to do egg hunt this year. That's a significant piece of our budget normally for candy. And we do have, we have all of our business donors donated towards our events, and that money is sitting there to support us as well. So we have the option if we wanted to try to do one at Cuddy as well, maybe do one at Schwenksville, one at Cuddy or something. So let's check these guys out, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
It's not going to put us in any problem if we wait till the next meeting.
No.
Okay.
And we all have email in between, so we can
Right.
swap ideas around.
We can email back and forth, but let's all check these guys out and be prepared to discuss.
Did the thing that Mark sent out about the bluegrass band? Did he send that to everyone? I didn't see it in my email.
You sent it to me. I sent it out to everybody on Park Board, so you should have it.
I don't.
Afternoon it came.
Came right out right before the meeting. He sent it like half an hour before our meeting.
I'll look. I looked on my phone while we were in the meeting here, and I didn't see it. I'll look at it again.
Okay, well.
If all else fails, you have it. I'll get it from you.
And you can always come downstairs and visit me. Okay. So we're good on that, and I think for Fall Fest we're going to assume that we can do something again. We're going to have to wait till we get a little bit closer. But again, this COVID thing is not going away easily. It's not going to go easily, and we just want to be careful we're not doing a super spreader event. I mean, and I for one have stayed out of it this far. Not going to jeopardize myself at this point. Okay, the next thing is just a quick view on the village center. I put out an email to everybody. Let's try and pull it up here. No, it's not going to come up. Oh wait. I was going to pull it up here, but this thing's giving me trouble tonight. I did have a meeting with Mark and the municipal crew down at Village Center Park. They are starting to pull out the dead materials. All of the dead bed, around the front of the fountain, some of those smaller beds along the walkways. We're going to take down the circle to grass. That's the cheapest, easiest thing for the township to manage. They can mow it. They're also going to, Mark said he'd go ahead and have them grind down the stumps from the ash trees that they took out so it looks a little nicer. And they will also take away the scrap pile that we've created down there at the bottom. So from now on, when we do a weeding event or any of those events where we're generating debris, we just need to coordinate with them. They will stage a truck, or like they did for us over at Cuddy Rain Garden, they staged a backhoe with the bucket there, and we can fill the back of the truck or the bucket, and then they'll take it away for us. So we won't have the trash pile there, but we'll have a means of getting rid of it as we're generating it. So
for weeding, maybe you want to have a compost pile, huh?
Pardon?
For weeding, maybe you want to have a compost pile?
I'd love to do compost at some place.
Well, why not there?
Well, we could do it. That's a good point. We could set something up there, designate a spot. It's a good thing to do as part. I mean, the Village Center Park is Noah, for your information, we're kind of making that a demonstration park. We have the pollinator gardens there and the native plant gardens. This woods will be a replacement for the monoculture that we had of ash that was killed off with the emerald ash borer, and we're going to replace it with the a native kind of native and native ours. Nice mixed hardwood forest with understory and some nice native shrubbery and even some perennial flowers that mixed in around there would be really cool. Eventually, I mean, it's a long-term plan, but we get started with the tree program and move from there. But it's all, everything's going to be tagged and identified so that you can walk around the park and see what the species is, and QR codes that take you to information on plant habitat, its behavior, its habit, what it likes, how to, you know, I have in some cases I'm putting in how to prune it, when to cut it back, those kinds of things. So we're trying to add some information in there as best as we can. So all of the trees will be tagged as well. And we're looking at doing the same kind of thing. I talked to you about Cuddy in the meadow, doing the same kind of things in the meadow and over there as well with some of our key plants and nice specimen trees that we really want to identify and tell people what they are so that they can take advantage of knowing what that is. So just so everybody knows, you're going to see a lot of work going on there. It's one of the things that Mark asked us to do, to load up the guys when they're not busy in the winter that they can do. So they're going to do it as they're able. Obviously now with the snow, we're not going to do that, but you're going to see that happening. So you know what's going on. If anyone asks, I'll probably put something up. We should probably put something up on the website as to what's going on. Right now I had posted up something about what's happening with the trees coming down in emerald ash borer. Should probably put an update to them on something to what's happening there.
What do you think about in the far corner of the village center, maybe designating a little spot that we can have a mulch storage and compost?
Well, I don't know, how are we going to manage the compost? Who's going to stir it and keep it wet?
No, compost happens.
Well, it happens.
You know, some people think you have to intensively manage it, but you know, if you have a pile, if you throw your weeds on a pile next to your free mulch, all you have to do is shovel the mulch on top of it.
If we could get a nice like composting bin or something that looks half decent there, that would be a really nice thing. Get a fairly large one.
I'm watching Janet try to get in and say something here. What are you trying to say?
I am, and I'm trying to take notes at the same time. Pam, what about the flagpole? Are we still going to do that in the circle?
We can. I mean, that's something we could do in the future. Right now, they're just going to take out the plants, take it down to grass. If we wanted to do the flagpole, we can look at doing that, you know, later.
I thought we had that in 2021.
No, it's not. Well, let me look here.
It. I know. I remember talking about it, Janet. I don't remember it being in the budget, but I remember it being in the budget.
Oh.
I'm looking, but I mean, this budget is a living document. It's kind of our plan. It's how we're going to kind of look at how we're doing, what our mission is.
Janet, I thought you'd be thrilled just to get rid of the poison ivy in there. I didn't.
I am. I don't ever want to go back in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not on here right now, Janet, but we can certainly add it in.
Okay.
That might be something we want to go for donations for. Get a price on what it take to install. Let's let the guys get it cleared out and set up first.
Okay.
But yeah, we can do that. That's not going to be a problem. The objective now is to get it, you know, easy maintenance and stuff. And the guys were all for it. I mean,
everything's coming out, huh? Even the arborvitaes. Is that what's in?
Yeah.
There's trees.
Yep.
I know the shrubs all were dead, but I thought the trees were.
You know, they're not in best of shape either if you look at them.
Okay, good.
So, starting over fresh.
Good.
Okay, so that's what's happening with Village Center. A lot going on there. Gonna freak some people out, but we got it. We have to do this. Okay, QR tag. Greg, can you give us an update on that status?
Well, it's a very short update. We actually have the database completely populated at this point. And you'll recall we have the stakes, we have the tags. They're sitting here in inventory, and and the database that the QR codes refer to is in place. It needs some it's going to need some review and some polishing. I guarantee you there's some places where there's a box that should be checked that wasn't, or something, some little things that can be polished up. But basically at this point it's waiting for spring, when those plants come popping out of the ground and show their smiling faces again, so we know where to plant the stakes. And I will tell you what, I can send something out to the group, kind of reviewing for you what the plants are, and giving you some URLs that you can point to, or some hot links or something, if you want to go look at it.
And give us feedback.
Yeah.
I did the research and basically wrote up the front end of it, story about the plant, and interesting facts about how it was used by the American Indians and all this stuff. Pollinators, of course, the larval hosts that the plants are supporting, and information like that. But anyone who can review some of those things and give us feedback on other things that'd be good to add. We can always add and embellish these things. We can always add to the database. It's a living document. So as we come up with things, we're looking at, we might have to get some better pictures. Maybe get some pictures of our, pollinators on the plants would be really cool to include in there. And we can include pictures and a whole lot of information in there about these things. So this is the start. So we'll get them out there and work from there.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that as we have this in place and we go into the new year and have a few months of some really nice blooms, that we'll pick up, because it's almost all things that attract birds and pollinators and things that there's some great opportunities, if you're lucky enough to be there when somebody's busy pollinating, to get some good shots. And I've gotten some just around our house here, those as we get them, we can just go in there and click edit and attach them, put them in there. You can even put in links. It won't hold a video, but it will hold a link to a video. So you can put up a video like in YouTube or something, and put in a link to that. If we had a video clip of a butterfly or a hummingbird or something.
It's a pretty powerful tool, and we can use it any way we decide we want to. But this will get us started, and then we can go from there. We can fine tune it for what we want as we go forward for other gardens and other plants and things. And that it probably took. I appreciate Greg's input, because Greg really did the heavy work here. I did the research, which was a learning activity for me, which I enjoy. So Greg did the hard work of loading up the database, and we put over 100 hours of work into this. It was for 30 plants, it was a lot of research and a lot of editing and typing. So, but that's fun. And given that, again, looking back at what we were planning on trying to do in the coming year, we've identified that we want to do some tags at Cuddy Park. We've identified we want to do an interpretive panel for the pollinator gardens. So, we can start working on the interpretive panel and loading that up with, good information on the plant list and pollinator gardens, why they're important, and the types of pollinators that we see there and that kind of thing. If you haven't looked at, if you're not keeping a copy of this, what we call the budget sheet, which is basically our project sheet, I'll send it back out to everybody, because this is our living document for our planning, and also to see how we're doing against our plan and our budgeting. That helps Mark understand, where our money's going and where we're spending our money and what we're doing. And we can also, at the end of the year, look back and see, did we do what we said we were going to do, and why not? But it's a living document, can be added to, we can take things off of it. And so I will send this back out to everybody, so you've got it. And let's, refer to it and see what's on there and things that we can be working on. Now in the winter is a good time to be working on things and planning, and especially the development of the information for, like, on the QR codes for the information panels, and just doing the informative panels is good. So Okay. Old business, not too much there, without Donna Lynn here. Invasives removal, Warren, that's in your court. When you want to do that, just, let us know ahead of time when we can do that. That's it, Cuddy, to do the invasives removal. Village Center Park maintenance, we're just waiting. Best time to clear up and prune back the pollinator gardens is when the air temperature reaches about 50 degrees routinely. So we're waiting for that. That's when the bees start to become active, and that's when we can safely start taking things down that won't disturb the habitat too much, and before the plants really start revving. So I'll be monitoring that. And when that's looking like we're getting close, I'll put out an APB on that. And Donna Lynn is working on the shade for the Cuddy Dog Park. The Eagle Scout, there is an Eagle Scout involved in doing that, wanted to do that. They are supposed to be giving us a list of the materials they need to do that. We have not, Mark has not received that yet. So Donna Lynn was back in contact with them, and I did not get a report, so I don't know what's happening there. So we'll have to wait till next time. But somebody is, one of the Eagle Scouts does want to take that as a project for us. So other than that, anyone have any other new business?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I see old business is VCP picnic table.
Yeah.
Many months ago, we talked about moving one from Cuddy Park to VCP. Is that still in the plan? Versus buying new?
That's an interesting question. Mark had also said he would take care of it. And I'm not sure what that meant.
My understanding was Mark was going to get a new one rather than move one.
My understanding he was going to get one because we talked about it. We didn't want to move. I think, didn't we talk about that? We didn't want to move on out of Cuddy because it would disrupt the feng shui of the pavilion or something.
That was, Donna Lynn was hot on that. She didn't like messing up the symmetry of the pavilion.
Really? Because I forget if there's 6 there, but I never see them all being used, ever.
Well, let me address that with Mark. If his intention was to buy a new table, or if we should just move one and readdress that with him, I'll bring that up with him. And we should get one moved over there. I mean, this COVID, there's an opportunity for people to sit there as the weather gets nicer.
Those are really nice tables over there at Cuddy too.
Yeah.
Really
Very nice.
Well-made tables.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing is, they're wood, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know about putting them outside.
I was going to say, I'm not sure how they'd hold up sitting not under the pavilion.
Put them outside, really, and let them deteriorate.
Well, if Mark's going to buy a new one, I know he's going to get one that's like a powder-coated, aluminum or fake wood.
Or like the benches.
Let me talk to him about what his intention was.
Okay.
And see what we can do there. Okay, thank you. Good one. Anything else for the good of the order?
Yeah, I'd like to give an update. I don't know if anybody else noticed, but the township crew mowed Colonial Park last week.
I noticed.
And I'm going to send a message to Mark about what a great idea that was, doing it when the ground was frozen. That was great. I don't know if they did Cuddy or not either. I didn't go over there to see it. Did you see that? Was anybody else over to Cuddy?
I haven't been over there lately, huh?
And I guess you're not going to see it for a little while. Has anybody been out on the roads today? Did anybody notice if there were any people sledding?
We had a snowmobile going up Erloff Road. That's all I know.
I know the last little snowstorm we had, there were people out there sledding on the big dirt mountain.
Oh, great.
Oh.
That's great. Yeah.
And now the township crew was in there not too long ago and smoothed that out, pushed over their great big piles and cleaned it up. So it could be a sledding hill.
That would be a really nice hill. That's got a really good.
You're talking about Mount Schuler, right?
Right.
Mount Schuler. Yeah, I didn't want to say that.
I think, I think she deserves the honor. Yeah, I keep looking at that, saying there must be something that we can do with that dirt pile, and that's the best thing I can imagine to do with it.
It'd be good. Okay, anything else for the good of the order? No? Can I move to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. I'll get out a copy of the agenda, the revised tree program, and also I'll send you each out a copy of the spreadsheet again, so you have that.
Oh,
for reference.
hang on a second. Marlo wants to talk here.
Yes.
Let's,
No, I'm just saying good meeting.
Oh,
okay.
Giving you a hand.
thank you.
Oh, I thought that was a raising your hand. I'm sorry. Well, thank you.
Oh, Marla, I did want to thank you for recommending the Pennsylvania Recreation and Park Society. Greg and I sat in on their one meeting on measuring organizational performance. It was a pretty high level consultant report, but it gave me confidence and some ideas on, we are utilizing our budget sheet as our kind of our planning sheet and our way of measuring our mission and our goals. But I've joined, and I think there'll be a good place at least to have good references and maybe network with some good people there. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome. I'm glad. And whenever I see something, I'll be sure and forward it on.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, thank you for a good meeting. Take care.
Thanks,
Stay
Ian.
warm and safe. No heart attacks.
Right.
Take it easy.
It's too hard to get new members. Don't have a heart attack, please.
Good night. Take care.
Have a good night.
Must be looking at me.
Bye-bye.